Everyone, how are you? This is Bethany Gagne, founder of Numinous, the organization that sponsors the now Resonant Peaceful Cities project. And if you're receiving this email, then it means that you're on our list. And that means that you've probably been on our list for years. And I just want to thank you for your continued support. In fact, I also want to make sure that you actually know about the 3 successful research projects that we've done already, because sometimes we do a peace project and then it takes so long to get all the data and analyze it and compare all of that by the time we give the results, it's kind of anticlimactic. So I just want you to know that we have now 3 successful studies done in 3 U.S. cities that have demonstrated highly significant reductions in violence during our peace weeks, and you can look below this video to see the specifics of that. So thank you for your participation in that. And this video is to invite you to do so much more as we have been working hard behind the scenes. We're reorganizing kind of the whole organization. You'll see a new website, new name, new collaboration, new research. And so I'm going to encourage you right now to look for the Participate Now button, or around, there should be a button on this email somewhere that that you can click on, and you're going to see that there's a list of ways you can participate. And this way we can be more specific when we're communicating with you to make sure you have the right appropriate information. So, so please go to that Participate Now button, and I'm going to share with you some of the options that are on there. For instance, first of all, we have now, we're preparing for another Louisville project. Louisville liked us so much, they invited us back. And so we're doing our 2nd annual Louisville, Kentucky Peace Project at the end of July. And you know what happens at the end of peace projects is people's hearts open so much, their energy fields expand, and we've measured how much that increases happiness. There's an up to 84% increase in happiness when people participate in a peace project. Not rocket science, just when you lighten your heart, expand your field, and send intentions for best in your own life as well, you just get happier. It's just a side effect of the work. And so what would happen is people get so happy that they sit there and say, at the end of the peace project, they're always saying to me, can we keep this going? This was so much fun. Meanwhile, I'm like working behind the scenes, trying to make it all happen. And I always have a hard time saying no at that point. And then I just started kind of seeing what's happening in the world. You might be paying attention to such things as well. And I was just like, you know what? We have this group of people who understand the power of consciousness. Let's kind of gather and harness our energies, our understandings of consciousness, and put them into service, into humanity in a greater way. And so to that end, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be between the city peace projects. We're going to also do Asheville, North Carolina sometime soon too. And between them, we're going to have something what we're calling a Legion of Light. A legion of light, of people going to their mat every day, just the way a peace project is, right? But then we're going to use the 20 minutes to open our hearts, send intentions to the globe, set a constant affirmation for putting, establishing peace in the grid, in the etheric. And then also, as usual, you're going to have time to do your own intentions. So this idea that every day we're lightening our hearts a little bit more and expanding our field a little bit more, lightening our hearts a little bit more, expanding our field a little bit more. I kind of refer to this work now as kind of like the gym for your subtle energy field, right? Because it's really your subtle energies that run things. We think it's our thoughts, but underneath your thoughts is this whole energetic system going on. We talk a lot about this in the Consciousness Athlete program. All of the programs that I do always are really about your energy, not your thoughts, because thoughts are just very, Course in Miracles talks about how thoughts are merely symbols of symbols, right? They're removed from the actual energy. We go right to the energy. So anyway, I'm going to encourage you, go to the Participate Now button, click on Legion of Light, and if you want, you have the option to have a daily 20-minute meditation that's going to make you happier. Text it right to your phone. So you could just wake up in the morning, go to your phone, click on it, meditate right there in bed before you even get out of bed to take on the day. And I guarantee you, by the end of that meditation, it's the kind of meditation that invites you to put your shoulders back and head up and to go out and face your day. Please consider signing up for the Legion of Light. Now, we also have something else new. We have so much new. It's so fun. we have a collaboration with the Monroe Institute in Farber, Virginia. Many of you must know Monroe from all of their work in HemiSync. So it was founded by Robert Monroe in the 70s. They were like pioneering in consciousness research. And what Bob Monroe learned early was that sound is a very quick way to alter consciousness. In fact, I can't think of anything faster. I mean, I don't even think the breath is faster than altering consciousness. You know, if I hit a chime, automatically, you know, there are music and sound automatically can shift your state so fast, right? Before you've even finished an inhalation. So anyway, so the Monroe Institute has been doing pioneering, proprietary Monroe sound, they call it Monroe sound science, where they test frequencies and what does it do to our minds, right, our brainwaves. In fact, I've been a part of that process because I am an mind mirror EEG monitor or trainer. And so we basically, what happens is we connect people to the Mind Mirror EEG, and we have them listen to different pieces of music with the frequencies behind it, and we measure which one is going to give the best results. And then we ask the participants, how did you think about that music? So understand that there's research that goes on with brainwaves that help them determine the frequencies. So imagine already our research has shown people get to up to 84% happier just doing a peace project in 84 days. Can you imagine how giddy happy you'd be if every day you did a meditation that had our signature to it, and then we add on to it the Monroe frequencies, and you do it every day, say for a year? I absolutely guarantee you, because I see the changes people who make in just 8 days. We used to see a month because we started with a month. And people just make huge changes. So imagine where you'd be in a year from now if you committed to that every day for the Legion of Light. I'd like to thank the Monroe Institute for their collaboration. So thrilled to be working with them. So thrilled. It just really feels like this beautiful connection. And we're going to be talking more about collaborating research. And I'll be sharing more about Monroe as well. All right, next thing. We have a new name, right? So instead of being Global Peaceful Cities Project, we are now the Resonant Peaceful Cities Project, right? And so why? Because again, this goes back to vibration and sound, and the Institute of Heart Math has done some research that says, you know, our heartbeats put off kind of vibrations in the field that other people can experience. And so this idea that peace is a frequency, right? And so it behooves us for us to go out and find that frequency and to live from it if we're going to balance these noise bands with all of the horrible stuff that's happening in the world right now, right? So understand that there's that what's in the field around us is what we put in it, right? And so what are we putting in it? Well, lots of political strife. We've got a lot of hatred going on. We've got a lot of war, famine. Then we have things like... then we have, which is the one thing, is gaming, right? Video gaming. So we've got kids who are being raised to constantly, and again, I don't mean to sound like an old fuddy-duddy. I'm just telling you what happens in the field. Like, no judgment on this, by the way. It's just the idea that we have all these kids that are sitting there practicing killing people, right? You know, just killing, like not thinking, not having an open heart, right? Just practicing over and all, looking at people as objects and then shooting them, right? Do we wonder why the mass shootings are so high, right? And why there's this upward climb? I mean, I don't know. I don't know about you. I don't know. Must be, maybe there's something on the water. Maybe that's it. Anyway, so the idea that if we don't start balancing these noise bands around the globe, right? If we don't start balancing what we're feeding the field with some joy, some beauty, some love, and not just a little flicker of it, right? To be able to sustain, to be able to, quote, like endure the state of bliss, right? To hold beauty and dignity and honor, right? And so those of us in the etheric who have these understandings, how important it is, because I'm going to tell you, you're rare. If you're on this list, you're rare. And I often go into that, but basically when they look at how consciousness is built, obviously fewer and fewer people get to the stage where they actually believe that their thoughts inside their mind have impact outside of the world. And usually that means that you had to go through some suffering and pain to get where you are in this video. And you were willing to take the growth curve a bit, right? And often people don't want to grow, so substance abuse is running rampant, right? So how important it is for those of us who have these understandings to put them in service of humanity, which by the way makes us happier as well, then that's critically important, which is why I continue at this work year after year, just saying I'm just relentless. This is how important this is. Okay, so it's now called the Resonant Peaceful Cities Project because we are resonating peace, right? It's like hitting a tuning fork. It's kind of like you have two guitars next to each other and you hit the E string on one and the other E string will just naturally start vibrating because you hit the E string on the one guitar, correct? You see what I mean? So that's what this Legion of Light is going to do every day. We're just going to it's like hitting that E string and we're just going to be inviting people to remember the gorgeous and the majesty of who they truly are, right? This dignity and honor that's within all of us. All right, new name. Also, finally, we have a new podcast. It's going to be called Consciousness Counts. I'll be interviewing people to help us understand who we are in the etheric, right? And so because the biggest challenge over these years is, do people believe in themselves? Do people believe that any of this work works? And the whole point of why I'm doing this Legion of Light is if we can stop every 4 months or so and do a city and then share out the responses to people, then maybe they'll actually believe when they're sending blessings to the globe that they will actually know and come to experience, I should say, their connection to the field. The physicists tell us that we are connected to all that is. And when we go into lower brainwaves, we start to experience that. And so this idea that, that's why I've been doing the peace projects all these years, is to help people believe in themselves, right? I mean, I know I work with this stuff all the time, and I see how this works in my life all the time. So, but the idea of until those of us, and people will challenge me and say, well, people have already done the TM research, why are you bothering? And I say, well, do people know who we are yet? Like, why are we waiting? Like, if it's, we're not utilizing it. We are underutilizing. Literally, some ways to solve our problems is literally underneath our nose, and we're ignoring it because we're constantly looking outside of ourselves, right? So anyway, so that's the new podcast. It's called Consciousness Counts. And then finally, new classes. All these years, I've really spent the bulk of my time running around trying to get people to meditate, trying to get people to understand this research. In the time, I have been doing deep, deep work on myself in this world and others, right? So it is only that the only reason why I've had the resilience is because I'm an energy sensitive and I can't deny the energy. So I that's why I stick to all of this over these years. But my point is I'm realizing that it's now time for me to more share a lot of what's behind this work. And I'm wanting people to come to understand who they really are in the etheric, wanting people to understand that this is not who they are, right? So this body here is really just a place marker so you know who the entity that is now incarnated as Bethany Gagne is, right? So this body is just a place marker for my spirit, right? And so this idea of like when we start to work with our unlimited mind, right? Our non-local mind, right? Then we have way more resources on the table to serve than if we're just down to the 5 senses. Research has shown our nervous system only lets in, I think it was like 0.001% of the reality around us. What if we let in the other 99.999% reality around us, right? What if we started to really put into service our non-local mind on a daily basis? And so the new classes I'll be doing, I've got classes in Become a Consciousness Athlete. That's my book. You can get it on Amazon or Audible. But also, I'm passionate about another subject. My book is coming out at the end of the year, Dealing with Difficult People for Spiritual People. That difficult relationships when you're in spirituality can become the PhD of spirituality. And if you know the curriculum, those really challenging, thorny relationship issues can be swiftly moved through if you understand the bigger picture of who we are and why are we interfacing to each other and what are the gifts that we have to offer each other, even in your most challenging, complex, grueling, brutal relationships, right? So what would be the gift in that? And the gift is to learn how to be properly calibrated within yourself and within the field. right? And then in the end, when you really figure it all out, you're like, ah, thank you, teacher, right? You're like, it's kind of what the Dalai Lama used to call the Chinese his noble friends, right? So that idea of really using relationship to access your noble friendship. All right, I think that is it. Please go to the Participate Now button, check it off, because I really just want to cull these old lists and start fresh, start new. You're going to see a new website, you know, new everything. Working real hard. It's almost like we're rebuilding the whole organization, now being very clear about the mission. And the mission is to do 7 more cities so that Dr. Reinhold and I can write a paper to share, to add to this body of work, and then also possibly do some other research because we don't have to just stop at peace research. There, we could do water, we could do smog. There's so many other studies that we're willing to do. Just reach out. All right. Thank you so much for listening. Please go to the Participate Now, and please encourage anybody you know to do this work, as we will be launching the Legion of Light soon. We've got the Louisville Peace Project as well, and we can't do this work without you, because we can set up the table, but unless you come and eat, unless you come and meditate, none of this matters. None of this matters unless people like you show up. So please, thank you so much, and we hope to see you soon. All right, thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.